Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great weekend. So I wanted to take a moment and talk about Electroneum's, some of its latest news in dealing with decentralized finance. And if you look at a lot of my videos, you probably will see that I'm one of those people who are quite skeptical about DeFi, whereas I can see a place for decentralized finance. I can see the opportunity there in the future. For the most part, as we know, many of the projects that have aligned itself with decentralized finance are nothing more than the latest kind of pyramid Ponzi scheme type thing, where it's just get into this, put your money in here, and these things go belly up and they hop to the next one, and it's just such a circus that's happened with very little actual use to the space that's beneficial to people participating in it. So Electroneum's getting involved with decentralized finance, and so can we expect the same type of situation with something like Electroneum getting into this area? And I think I can answer that question right away by saying I think it will be different with Electroneum. I think Electroneum, what it does is it legitimizes and it finds a lot of use in this space, and makes a lot of sense. And so what we have to understand about decentralized finance is that part of the story of these great returns, how they're created, is a heavily flawed story. And what I mean by that is that reports have come out that have been sent over to the SEC, consequentially, which has caused a lot of disapproval of certain market vehicles and instruments being proposed to enter the public markets, have been denied in most cases due to some of the reports that were sent to the SEC that talks about a tremendous amount of wash trading dealing with the arbitrage that happens in cryptocurrency market. Now, to put it plain, what it means is a lot of the markets that are showing these great returns that these decentralized finance tools are part of is false, right? It's not real. Now, of course, with products like Uniswap, when they come around, they provide liquidity and so on and so forth. The problem with that is the actual trading assets they provide the liquidity in, they themselves are false. And so the whole formula can become false and these returns become unsustainable. So there's a lot to think about what's really happening. But the unfortunate thing that cryptocurrency has been very good at for many years is preying upon the ignorance of especially new people, people who don't study the economy, people who don't understand markets, relying on their lack of information to get them to push these pyramid-like hype cycles. And it never fails. It happens year after year. They come up with a new design and a new idea to make that happen. And that kind of has kept the space, I would say, going, but not necessarily progressing, right? And so Electroneum is a totally different subject altogether, because what we have to understand is Electroneum is one of these products that are really delving into what people need and what they require. And so it's becoming this very useful global currency with a large user base and a good team behind it that's making it, making something like, whereas there exists in DeFi, the good apples, the part of decentralized finance I think can work, Electroneum would be able to be a part of that particular part of the DeFi area, right? And there's a very, very small area. And most of what's happening in DeFi doesn't involve this area, right? But what Electroneum is saying, or what's happening here, they're saying that this DeFi integration may look like, while or they're giving us a clue of what it's going to be like. Um, what seems to be going on is Electroneum is keenly aware of the quickly developing domain of DeFi apps or decentralized financial applications, and in particular of decentralized exchanges, said head of blockchain Chris Harrison. We are researching how to introduce atomic swaps with smart contracts, which will enable Electroneum to integrate into the DeFi space more seamlessly. Chris said, we are exploring ways to employ custom blockchain oracles via smart contracts to enable swap of tokens on existing smart contract blockchain and on decentralized trading platforms. Chris explained that the blockchain oracles are trusted servers configured to scrape and verify data from third-party sources to inform a smart contract that wishes to make a financial or business decision based on that data. We're also starting to look at helpful decentralized exchanges, use of custom blockchain oracles to enable far cheaper atomic swaps, he said. He went on to say he and his team finished benchmarking a simulation of the sub-address-based wallet system designed to improve the efficiency of the wallet system and make the Electroneum user experience smoother. And the result were great, and we're beginning to implement the full system soon. Chris added, we'll also finish the Changely integration and testing. So, I thought this was important. I want to read this section too. Electroneum is thrilled to welcome two very widely known crypto experts to their team. One is globally renowned crypto market analyst who decided to join the award-winning crypto startup that is already doing what Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg has been saying Libra would do for the past 2 years or more. The crypto expert has plans to focus on helping Electroneum expand its network and inspire conversations where synergies exist for possible collaborative agreements. Another crypto and blockchain expert is joined as an advocate. Their objective is to open new doors for Electroneum at the different international forums they go to throughout the year. More news on the new team members next week. So, the very interesting thing about this, as Electroneum talks about its role in DeFi, and basically being able to have these oracles that are going to be able to perform these swaps a lot across these centralized exchanges, a lot cheaper than what we have now. And also its integration into Changely, which is a very easy token swaps service, right? And so an adoptive cryptocurrency, or a cryptocurrency that is able to gain a great deal of adoption like Electroneum. The last thing you want is a difficult wallet experience. That's why it talks about making the wallet experience a lot more smoother. The last thing you want is a Uniswap situation where you're paying these ridiculous fees that to most people doesn't even make sense. And you want the smooth integration, right? You want the smooth process to where people don't experience the hardships with trying to benefit from cryptocurrency, right? So in this way, Electroneum's going to do very well at its integration into decentralized finance. And I think it's going to be one of those products that can bring out the best of what we can have happen with decentralized finance, right? It spoke about it's already doing what LibraCoin was saying it could or would do. And the thing about it is when you're looking at something like Electroneum has all of the makings of what could be a great cryptocurrency project. But if I had to say one thing I always hoped Electroneum would do that they never seem to get into, as they spoke about LibraCoin and Facebook, they never, I think, Electroneum never really understood how to incorporate social media into the Electroneum product. And I had been saying for the longest time that I thought it would be a good idea for Electroneum to be a social media network, to have its own exchange, to do all these very things that I thought that Electroneum should be doing. Like, for example, how Electroneum is trying to apply for a Binance listing. I pretty much felt like when you're applying to an exchange, a lot of times what's happening is the product is dependent on the exchange to bring it notoriety and liquidity for its products. This is true. But when you're a very adoptable large cryptocurrency, the 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 fact of the matter is, at some point, everybody has to come to you and go where you are. And so, in that sense, I believe Electroneum would have done a very good job in gaining value through a social network with exchange integration, like we're seeing some of the products do. And they've done the AnyTask site, they've done much of the task worker sites, which I think is fantastic. But I think they could have also uh, blended that in and integrated that into a social media site, because uh, it's to have a Fiverr like site. I think will work as you're going into these countries where there's opportunity for micro tasks and micro task workers, so on and so forth. But for the rest of the globe and in the West, I think it's very still important. I think it's still important to have the West involved with Electroneum as it goes forward. Whereas it just kind of comes in at the end. I think it still would work better if it was a process that they went forward with together. And so I would have liked to have seen that in the Facebook Libra coin comparison. But I don't think this is going to be bad for Electroneum, even though I'm a skeptic to the whole decentralized finance movement. I think it's nothing really new to it. I think it's existed in many forms prior to that. I think Hex got it right at the beginning of the year, the Hex Coin project. I think that we always had these quote unquote bots that could go around and uh, build these type of returns off of the market arbitrage between these exchanges, right? So, and we've always had some type of smart contract lending applications, right? So DeFi to me is feels like a rehatched idea of something we've already had, just trying to generate buzz and money in the space. I don't think it's really bringing anything unique or new in that sense. But again, I don't think this will be bad for Electroneum. I think Electroneum has done a very good job of building a good team, a good product, and having a good plan and roadmap. But I once heard someone say that building great products in cryptocurrency aren't enough anymore. And we've become into this very dangerous, corruptible space where a lot of our cryptocurrency media is more concerned about what investments they've made as opposed to the value and progression of the space. And we've come into a space where we've come under this dangerous guise of we of get rich quick, right? With our money and making 600, 800% returns this month. And the reality of the situation is, in most cases, those type of returns aren't sustainable, and in most cases, more people aren't going to make that money as opposed to who will. And so all of these things come with the with DeFi, right? With some areas of DeFi, most areas of DeFi and crypto right now. So, but Electroneum getting involved with it, I think, because it'll work for Electroneum as it focused so much on the early part to build a good product. Now it can focus more on the markets and the price, and I think that's what they're trying to do. Unfortunately, although Electroneum's built a great product, investors in cryptocurrency don't own part of the product or company uh, in similar fashion as if you were involved in a stock market, right? If you had share ownership in a business, right? So it's not the same. So what happens in the market is going to determine how and where you get your value. It's going to be very important that you be able to trade it over the markets, and it's going to be important that the markets are highly liquidable and that they have some value to give you back on your initial investment, or there needs to be ways you can earn more through some type of staking situation, or maybe what's going to be happening with this DeFi situation. So it looks good. I think it's a good idea for Electroneum. Why not? I think they should give it a try. There's certainly a product that is one of the only real products for me in cryptocurrency. It's really gotten down to maybe about 3 or 4 products that I think are even necessary, and the rest I don't believe are. And so Electroneum is certainly one of them. But now I want to segue over to our project, Bitcoin MYK, one that we do believe as well to be one that's going to be useful to people, beneficial, and help to progress the space. And so let's see what's happening with Bitcoin MYK's new listing on the CCTips token swap exchange. Okay, so we're here on the CCTip token swap, and many, especially me early on, I have been hearing about CC tips, and I understood it to be a bot service that integrated into social medias like Twitter, uh, Discord, and so on. And this was a great way to get cryptocurrency to people across social media to get them involved in the space. What I wasn't aware of was that CC Tips Swap has a service similar to Uniswap, where you provide liquidity to pools, and you're able to basically uh, transact your cryptocurrencies on over a decentralized exchange. Now, where this is great in this way is that with Token Swap here, or CC Tip Swap, um, there is a great deal. Um, there's a great deal less fees. I think it's only like 1% or something like that, right? And you can see like if you select trading pairs. So these are many cryptocurrencies that have been created and are entering into the liquidity pools with the CC tip swap, right? So if you use pairs like, I believe it's Tron, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Bitcoin, you basically get uh, fees for that, right? You get bonus fees paid back, transaction fees. You earn so much on when you provide liquidity to those pairings, right? For those particular coins, and that's fantastic. That means you get to earn off commissions off of the trading of your own cryptocurrency pairs, right? As long as they're paired up, and so the fees are a great deal less, especially when you think about new people coming into cryptocurrency. And it is very hard to imagine that new people are going to be able to sync these wallets, use these wallets, as we just covered with Electroneum. They're spent a lot of research and time on not only their integration into DeFi, but also making the wallet experience a lot smoother. Their Changely integration to make it a lot more easier process, especially for people who are going to be new people entering into these markets. And if we want cryptocurrency to work, that's going to be very important. When we take a look at the DeFi space, it only accounts for about 400,000 people. And so this is a very small pool. And the fact of the matter is, if you're too small and you don't have many wallets, then there's always going to be a wall that you're going to hit, right? And so, like with our project Bitcoin MYK, what we tell a lot of investors and people interested in the product as we go through our gradual growth is, what people have to understand about the setup is that it's meant to be uh, a product that accomplishes a high growth, right? High growth rate. and a lot of users, and it's meant to overwhelm um, the project with a lot of users, right? Because at the end of the day, the most wallets and the most users, whatever your product is doing, that community size is going to be what's going to matter the most. That network and that brand with that network. And it just doesn't matter how cool the technology is. It's like having a very nice, fast car that only 5% of people drive and 95% drive a Toyota Camry. So these are all things that I think we have to keep in mind with that when we try to look at the space overall as to what products are probably going to be useful in the future and actually do something. Um, so where is Bitcoin MYK? Let's see if we can find a second here. Our product we have just listed, and it's cool because it is a tip bot at the end of the day, right? And what's happening with that tip bot? Oh, excuse me. See if I can pull it up. Oh, there we go. So here's Bitcoin MYK, right? And let's see here. We just listed not long ago. Let's see. And what's really cool about it, and so there we go, we're seeing 10 million Bitcoin MYK for one Dogecoin. So there are people putting it out. And wow, I don't think this person knows the value of a Bitcoin MYK coin, right? So that's hilarious. So yeah, wow, I don't know how they did that, right? Oh, I guess he's saying he'll take 10 million for one Dogecoin, right? He certainly doesn't have 10 million. So he's so that's hilarious, but it's quite interesting. I'm sorry, guys. So but we just listed. I don't think I put any even put out. Oh, we sent out an airdrop. And that's a cool thing I was trying to mention about the airdrops is that they integrate through Twitter and so on and so forth. And so what's happened with that is getting to claim Bitcoin MYK through the airdrop. That's free. So I was kind of wondering what was going on. So yeah, we sent out like excuse me, I think we sent out about 1,000. So it being on this exchange, they're probably not aware that the Bitcoin MYK coin, I think, is trading for something like 20 cents on the Memo exchange, and I think it's like a little over a penny or something on the Hive exchange, and it's almost about 9 8 tenths of a penny. Is it? I have to double check that. I think it's about close to 6 or 8 tenths of a penny on Steam blockchain, right? And so I guess so. So probably the new people who are getting the airdrops, they probably don't know the value of Bitcoin MYK coin. I'd also put out there as many people who hold a coin know that that the supply is very low of Bitcoin MYK, and the growth rate we have about now, well over 6,000 low-level KYC accounts. We have about 15,000 accounts over the exchanges. And so we're growing pretty well there. And I think the bot service, let's try to take you over there so I can get through it. Kind of lost my point with there, but that's a good situation if you can get 10 million Bitcoin NYK for one Dogecoin. Oh my goodness. Um, let's see here if I can find that. I'm looking for the area here that allows you to send out the integrate into social media. And bear with me, guys, please. I'm still new to this. Okay, I think you got it. I got it now here. Yeah, you go over to the tip tracking on Twitter, or here it is, right? And you can hit create tips, and it's pretty cool. Probably many of you have already received from CCTips, right? So it's pretty cool as it has both the exchange integrated into it, as well as it has the ability to send tips across social media. So that's pretty darn cool. And I was aware that this existed, but I was like, I don't know how effective that'll be. People just sending people random tokens across social media. But after looking at how this works exactly, how it has a liquidity pool with cheaper fees than Uniswap, easier wallet interfaces and UIs, right? Um, and then having that ability to create cryptocurrencies and integrate in social media. I think that's pretty darn cool. I actually think that's pretty darn cool. And if I'm honest, guys, there are a lot of things happening in cryptocurrency I don't quite understand. Like for instance, like why I think Ethereum is complete trash, crappy as far as the user experience with it, right? The syncing of the wallets, all this stuff, I think is very, very uh, uh, not user friendly for new people, especially if you want to adopt people in. And those things exist with Ethereum and some of these other projects. And um, one of the big problems with cryptocurrency is people are willing to slow the progress of cryptocurrency just because they have all their investments in some other cryptocurrency, where it's Ethereum. And the problem with that, I think, is it impedes, right, the growth, and also restricts better products, because the better products don't get the attention or funding, because then you got gatekeepers with the Bitcoin maximalists and Ethereum people trying to block them, although their products may not be as efficient or may not be the best product going forward and in the future. And I'm not trying to rag on Bitcoin or Ethereum. I know a lot of people put their trust in there and they got all their value and money in there, but just kind of stating some of the facts about that. Even if um, it was the clear case that Bitcoin and Ethereum came to be inferior products to many of the up and coming projects, there would still be now all these very rich and powerful people in the Bitcoin and Ethereum that don't want to lose their value in bags. And that's why I support forks like what we're doing at Bitcoin MYK. Because as long as a new project emerges as in competition with Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're going to try to take them down, whether they're better or not. They say they won't, but they've shown otherwise. And I think the answer is not so much creating an entire new project that's going to do that, but creating one that integrates well into the value systems as they exist today. I think that's the only way we can do it without a lot of time being wasted and a lot of destruction in the process. And unfortunately, that's just the way it's probably going to play out. But I think our project, Bitcoin MYK, is taking the right approach. Make sure you join our project today, our site. You can get some free cryptocurrencies, or go on our Twitter. We'll leave a link in the description where you're able to participate in a free airdrop and get some of the cryptocurrency in our Universal Basic Income project, which many of you already know what it is. We believe Universal Basic Income to be a mass adoption vehicle. We believe 80% of the globe would opt for UBI, and we're growing very, very well these days with very little marketing. But projects like CCTips, Swap, and the CCTip bots obviously are turning things around for us, are going to be making things a lot easier as far as getting the adoption of millions of people like we're after. So before we get out of here, we want to do a quick explanation of our centralized or CFI, centralized finance system, and tell you some of the differences and why we believe, although the space has moved on to DeFi, why centralized finance it may be very necessary going into the future. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Okay, so we're going to explain what Bitcoin centralized, or CFI, centralized finance, is all about and how it works. How is CFI different from DeFi? So ever so often when you hear the term DeFi come up a lot, you'll hear CFI, right? And who's doing CFI? Well, CFI is going to be something like your Binances or exchanges, And many of the reasons why you're doing DeFi in the first place is so you don't have to have CeFi. And a lot of people already know how I feel about DeFi and why in the world would I think CeFi is a good idea. Well, for the most part, I don't think CeFi is a good idea. I think it's a bad idea, but there are certain circumstances where I think CeFi may work well and may be necessary. And I think the Bitcoin MYK project may fall in just one of those areas. Very rare, but I think it might fall in one of these areas that where that may stand to be correct. So you first have to understand the makeup of the Bitcoin MYK project. What is it? It's a universal bridge cryptocurrency. That's important. It means that there exists a counterpart to Bitcoin MYK on major exchanges you can or major blockchains where they have interoperability where you can move our cryptocurrency. Sort of like an atomic swap, right? You can move it out of one blockchain to another, right? And we, through a centralized hub, facilitate that. Now, where the centralized finance comes in is when you're dealing with something like universal basic income, what you have is you're going to have a lot of people who are interested in universal basic income but may know very little about cryptocurrency. So you're going to probably have a lot of people who don't know how to navigate, right? So that sets up a situation where a product or service that can aid them in that kind of works. Now, the other thing I feel a lot of my bones is that a lot of decentralized finance products are going to be scammy, right? Or pyramid Ponzi schemes, and that are going to be bad for the space, and people are going to lose a lot of money, and people are going to walk away and get burnt and never come back. And I believe that is going to happen, and I think the cryptocurrency space hurts itself a lot. But when we speak of the Bitcoin MYK centralized finance product, here's the really cool part about it. In this kind of circular loop-like system, we also uh, have it set up to where it's actually free. Now, I know this free stuff and this free idea of universal basic income and money is just so far beyond the scope of many of our minds that we cannot understand why, how it's possible, where's the money coming from. Well, I think it's important to understand or say it this way. Yes, it is free in a sense where it's free to the end user, but it's not free overall, right? And so what I mean by that is that there's value being created when big networks are created. And if the network gets big enough, you can use a freemium service model to, in a way, I guess the proper term would be to defer the value that needs to go into it onto another time. And so the best way I can explain this, look at something like Facebook, a freemium service model, where you basically have Facebook, the company, would pay for all the servers and they pay for all of the platform and all the development that went in there. We didn't have to pay a dime. We get to use the service free. But what happens is in being able to use the service free, we don't have to pay anything, but they use our data in a sense to where they're using this data for outside companies and products to get it. Now, here's where CeFi comes in for us. We don't use your data, but what we do use is the network. We turn the network value on itself and use the arbitrage in our own Bitcoin MYK markets across these several blockchains to create a free centralized finance tool for you, right? How is it free? Well, because in theory our cryptocurrency is free, you could get it, you could sell it on the open market, and then you could purchase the Bitcoin MYK CeFi coins, right? Which we're going to explain how they work in a moment and why they're so important and why I think you all will get and fully understand it here. So you will be able to do all of this free without spending one dime, and because of that, because it's not scammy or Ponzi like or pyramid, in that the product has been paid for it. There was no ICOs done on it. There was no body who purchased the platform or the site. Those things were all paid for by Bitcoin MYK and my own money and stuff like that. So it was nobody who came in and put up all the money like many projects do. And then people did ICOs and people then go and pump up the price and all that. None of that. The product was delivered, free to use, free to get the cryptocurrency, turning the network value on its head and then extracting that network value through centralized finance arbitrage. So let's get into it. So you might have to rewind the video a couple times, come back and read it, or feel free to ask specific questions about it. We'll be able to help you and more than happy to assist you with this. But the Bitcoin or the BTC MYK CFI coin is always going to be valued or pegged to the US dollar, right? So think of it like this coin is going to always be, now this coin, because it's going to always be pegged to the US dollar, you can think of it, it can function as a stable coin for products and purchases within the Bitcoin MYK network. But although it's pegged to the US dollar, it's backed by the Bitcoin MYK token, right? So let's continue on with it so you can get it. So the Bitcoin MYK CFI coin is backed by the Bitcoin MYK tokens market value, meaning the present market value, which means basically if a Bitcoin MYK CFI coin is always going to be equal to $1, that means that the Bitcoin MYK tokens is going to always be able to be redeemed for $1 worth of Bitcoin MYK CFI coin. So that's basically like saying we're always going to be able to give the value back because we're always going to have the market value. We're always going to have the coins to give you. And we're always going to be able to give you the exact amount of coins that will equal a $1 market value that the Bitcoin MYK CFI coin is pegged to, right? Now, but how do we know the value of it? How do we know that it's valued at $1 in the first place? And this is where it gets to this loop and it gets a little bit technical where you really need to pay attention to this. But the reason that this happens is because when Facebook first went into its IPO stage and it started trading as a public company, the way that the analysis went for products like Facebook, or a lot of it was estimated on about over the life of an account, a Facebook account might net you about $200, right? Now, they're talking about the life of it could be through advertising or whatever value they extract from that. Now, cryptocurrency, I would go so far as to say an account is even more valuable than that. Why is that? Because, well, a cryptocurrency account is likely that people are going to be buying. This is a very money-driven industry. And so people are going to probably be investing in your token in one way or another. Money's going to be multiplying across cryptocurrency offers and so on and so forth. So it is quite conceivable for us to come up with that there is a pretty good analysis done that our accounts might be like $200 each. Low-level KYC accounts are well over 6,000 now, 15,000 over exchanges. So when we take an average of that, we're probably somewhere around 6,000 actual accounts we're looking at, right? That comes about $1.2 million. So what we'll do is, what happens is there will be a Bitcoin MYK CFI coin that's more like a stable coin, right? That's doing all those things we just mentioned. The first phase will be about 25,000 issued. Now, what happens when they hit the open market, right? Well, say if a person wants to create a liquidity pool, a market maker liquidity pool to give value to or give liquidity right to the Bitcoin MYK token so people can get it in and out when they want, no problem. Well, 70% of the CFI coin proceeds on the open market are going back into the Bitcoin MYK market, right, to provide liquidity. So all what's happening is it's when you're buying it, the money's going right back. It's like a loop. It's going right back in there. Now, only 70% of doing that. What's the 30% left doing that? None of that money goes to the platform or the company, BitcoinMYK.com, anything like that. It all circulates right back through the market. 30% goes to the Bitcoin MYK CFI coin, right? So that means that if a person is holding that coin, which is acting like a pretty stable, like a stable coin, right? Then they are able to do two things. They can redeem it for the Bitcoin MYK coins, right? That they're always going to be able to redeem them. They're always going to be able to redeem them for $1, $1 USD, whatever the market value is of Bitcoin MYK, right? So we give the example here where we said 6,000 accounts. Let's say they rise to 12,000, right? So how does the CFI coins on the market gain value? Well, they become redeemable for 100% gain, right? So that basically means that the CFI coins that are being purchased, they're going to be able to be purchased at depending on the value of the market, right? They're going to be able to be basically redeemable for 100% of that, meaning that if you've had X amount of CFI coins, let's say you had one CFI coin, right? That's $1, and then we gained 12,000 accounts. Well, those our value overall, our market value or our product value has increased 100%. That means your CFI coins value is now redeemable 100%, and we can always provide the returns because we can provide the cryptocurrency. Correct? We have the cryptocurrency to provide. It's not promising returns that you couldn't get. Now, let's say it's only 600. We have 6,000 accounts, only 600 new ones entered. That's a 10% increase. You'll receive a 10% in redeemable Bitcoin MYK. Or you can just try your luck on the open market with the CFI coin and see if you can get it a little bit higher. Or maybe you just need to liquidate quick for some other cryptocurrency on that market, right? So how do we know what the price of the Bitcoin MYK coin is to redeem? So it's calculated on 30-day market average, and that's done because if you try to just go on what the market's reporting at, then you have to then calculate the sell value, the downward pressure value, and when you get through it all of that, if there's a big flash pump in the market or something like that, where it touches a high for about 5 minutes, it goes to a low, then that offsets the whole formula. So that's why we take an average instead over every 30 days, right? So let's say the 30-day average comes out to be 1 penny per Bitcoin MYK token. Then that means you will get 100 Bitcoin MYK tokens to equal 1 Bitcoin MYK CFI coin that always has to be pegged to $1. You have these two options. You have option A, you can just redeem the CFI coins for more Bitcoin MYK tokens, like an example provided. Or you can just sell it on the open market to anybody who wants to buy it. You, of course, if you sell it, then that redeemable option will pass to them, right? And you can sell it that way and then redeem it, right? And sell it on the open market for other cryptocurrencies. So, pretty interesting, pretty cool that can be done that way. And we think it's going to really help, especially new people who want to get involved with this. And again, you can do it totally free. You can just come in, and that's what I like about it. We've always tried to make Bitcoin MYK a very legitimate freedom service cryptocurrency. We believe that due to our deflationary model, and then based on the amount of growth we expect to achieve, that the value will find its way back into the network. This future value will offset any inflation that's caused by free cryptocurrency going out at this period of time, right? Using the centralized finance system, we believe that will stabilize it, and one day it becomes an active global currency, at which point then that you'll be able to use it in commerce every day. So many people will have their wallet and they can transfer it back and forth. But if it will be a very interesting and a very impressive product if we could pull it off. Universal basic income is like the holy grail for many great men and economists that hasn't been achieved yet. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could achieve it through cryptocurrency? And that's the possibilities we have now with Bitcoin and YK. But that's all I want to say in this video. If you have any questions, feel free. Don't hesitate to ask about this. Very important. We believe this product is going to be very beneficial to you and very helpful. So you can contact us, leave a comment on the video. You can contact us on our Discord, use our chat rooms on the BitcoinMyk.com site. Any way you want to do it, whatever you want to know, we're here for you. But that's all I want to say in this video. If you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget to join the Bitcoin MYK project. It was created for you to give value to you. You are the most valuable, important asset in the world. Not gold, not silver, not printed fiat currencies, but you and your participation. That's all I want to say in this video. Until next time, as always, take care.